Yeah.
You know.
So how did the, if you like, the genre rise in commercial terms? Because Jack Parow and the Antwoord are kind of very big, really.
There's two ways to look at this.
Yeah.
Or two things that you need to take in context, and the one is that you know, hip hop moved from Joburg in a sense. Now remember, I'm not saying POC was the first that rapped.
Yeah.
Nobody can place that. I mean, everybody was exposed at the same time.
Yeah.
Whether you're in Africa or wherever, when they heard rap. But when it comes to people who rose and were recognized globally, it was POC. So what happened? They went from Cape Town, started segments in Joburg, for instance.
Yeah.
And there was instrumental guys like Amo, for instance, who's a pioneer when it comes to hip hop, a black dude.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they incorporated their own language. You know? People started rapping in Xhosa. People started rapping in Venda, Tswana, whatever. You know? Motswaku, you know, I was just Saturday I was in Klerksdorp, and the languages is just amazing, you understand? But then there's something else that happened. Obviously guys like Jack Parow and the Antwoord, what he is, who's now Ninja, he comes a long way. It's not an overnight star, you know, and we in the inner circle understand that. Obviously there's a lot of frustration in the colored areas, for instance, which feel that he's taking what is ours and making money out of that.
Yes.
But he is a businessman.
Yeah.
But he's also a very hard-working MC and a person. So they obviously saw with the rise of you know, Fokofpolisiekar and guys like Straatligkinders, who suddenly it's a new thing.
Yeah.
It's the new generation were like, okay, now we're in a new era. And it's like middle finger to everything.
Yes.
You know, what's happening now?
Yeah.
So what happened is they basically just started speaking what they thought.
Yes.
And it obviously included a lot of swear words and all these things. So it was suddenly to hear that in a song and in media is like, oh my God, people. And for people like Fokofpolisiekar to put it right out in their name.
Yes.
Like radios would say, we're going to play the Cars now. They're not going to say, we're going to play Fokofpolisiekar. They wanted to prove an intellectual point.
Yes.
That, look here, this is what my name says, but still you would play it because people want to hear it. You know, all these type of philosophy. It's a very deep generation where we are now, although we are very, very far behind still.
Yeah.
But what happened is, suddenly they saw the hip hop can do that as well.
Yes.
And obviously there's financial muscle.
Yeah.
I don't know really who sponsored what, but you know, connections. And that is where for instance, my grievance. I had a song out, one of my albums called Witblits.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what Witblits is. Witblits is an alcoholic drink in South Africa, which is like 90 or something percent, 95% just alcohol.
Right.
But the thing is, Wit is white and Blitz is like fast.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how difficult that is to swallow.
Yes.
For me, that white's now doing something that I've done for years.
Yeah.
And fast.
Yes.
Reach a certain point, you understand? But it was not against them as a person, but it's just a system.
Yes.
Like, I obviously have been to sponsors and asked them to sponsor something like this, but then they said, that's not Afrikaans.
Yes.
Or this is not good, or this is not art, or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now, somebody else is doing it, he's doing the same term, he's using the same terminology, the same turn of phrases and everything, and it's art, and it's accepted by a big people, gross of people. And I felt...
The Antwoord also took some choices in terms of the language, didn't they? Because they do both English and Afrikaans.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like, everything about him is he tried to portray. But there's two sides. You can either think of Waddy as somebody who's stealing a culture.
Yes.
What they call culture vultures.
Yeah.
Or secondly, you can think of him as portraying the beauty and the versatility and the art of our people.
Yes.
And I will not speak as to what I think he is, because I don't like where he is now as a human being. I haven't interacted with him as a person. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to make an observation from a distance. Yeah, yeah. But I know he's a very, very hard worker, and he thinks things. Yeah. You know, he thinks it through.
So how many people in South Africa speak Afrikaans? Because that's the other thing, isn't it? It's quite a widely spread language.
It's as I said, we own. We take ownership of our language. It's not, we don't think that it's a white language.
Yes.
Obviously, our older folk, like, I mean, I'm a rugby fan, for instance. Rugby is something that I own too.
Yes.
It's not going to be like a white sport, in my opinion. I love rugby.
Yeah.
If we had this interview in my studio, you'd just see all the blue bull flags and whatever.
Yeah.
And I love our heroes. I grew up with Afrikaans music.
Yes.
And although it was very white, and still in actual fact today it's still white.
Yeah.
But it's not because you know, our people can't or whatever. It's just I think a commercial lapse, a chasm or a chasm, or whatever you say that word, between making it and the talent here.
Yes.
That we never seem to cross. Now there's other reasons for that, but Afrikaans is spoken by the colored people in South Africa, by whites, and if you go to the Northern Cape, and you speak to Tswana people, you can't speak to them like, because they, you can't speak to them like, hi, sorry, ek gaan vir jou sê, nee meneer, ek praat Afrikaans, you understand? So the Northern Cape, Tswana, from Kimberley, Uppington, all those with was Africans. They speak Afrikaans. You know, and they love the language. There's artists, hip-hop artists that I know, guys like Term, for instance, in Kimberley. That raps Afrikaans. You know, expresses themselves in Afrikaans. But again, it's the accent and their lingo, dialect, jargon that they use within their framework there.
Hemel, thanks for talking to me today.
No problem.